The forest held its breath as if waiting for something to break the stillness. Sunlight, fractured and weak, struggled to pierce the dense canopy, casting ethereal beams that danced on the forest floor. A blanket of silence lay heavy, broken only by the whisper of wind through ancient trees, their branches swaying gently as if sharing secrets with the breeze. This was no ordinary woodland. It was a place where time seemed to stand still, where the past and present intertwined in a delicate dance. This was a place where shadows lingered, and whispers danced on the breeze, carrying tales of old and forgotten lore. This was the Whispering Forest, a realm of mystery and enchantment, where every rustle of leaves held a story waiting to be told. Deep in the belly of this emerald labyrinth, a sense of unease hung in the air, thick and cloying, as if the forest itself was alive and watching. It clung to the gnarled branches, seeped from the moss-covered stones, and whispered secrets to those brave enough to listen, or perhaps foolish enough to seek them out, or foolish enough to stray from the path, where the safety of the known gave way to the unknown, and the forest's true nature revealed itself. The forest was a place of whispers, of secrets shared only with the wind, a guardian of ancient tales and hidden truths. And tonight the wind had a story to tell, a story that had been waiting in the shadows, biding its time. A story spun from darkness and fear, a tale as old as the woods themselves, woven into the very fabric of the forest, waiting for the right moment to be heard. Under the pale glow of the moon, the forest came alive with whispers, each one a thread in the tapestry of its ancient narrative. Leaves rustled with unseen movement, and the underbrush seemed to shift with a life of its own, as if the forest was breathing, whispering, living. In the distance, a shadowy figure moved through the trees, a fleeting glimpse of something or someone lost to the ages, a part of the forest's eternal story. In a hidden clearing, an ancient stone circle stood, bathed in moonlight, a silent witness to the countless stories that had unfolded in this whispering forest. The stones bore carvings, ancient symbols that glowed faintly in the moonlight, telling tales of a time long past, of secrets that the forest had guarded for centuries. The path ahead was shrouded in darkness, a journey into the unknown, where every step could uncover a new whisper, a new secret, a new story waiting to be told. The sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of blood orange and bruised purple. The colors bled into each other, creating a mesmerizing tapestry that seemed almost otherworldly. It was the kind of sunset that made you pause and take a deep breath, feeling a sense of awe and insignificance all at once. A lone hiker, Sarah, paused at the edge of the woods, her breath catching in her throat. She had been hiking for hours, her legs weary but her spirit undeterred. The forest before her was dense and dark, a stark contrast to the vibrant sky behind her. She felt a mix of excitement and trepidation, knowing that the path ahead was both a challenge and an adventure. The forest seemed to reach out, beckoning her into its depths. The trees with their gnarled branches looked like ancient sentinels guarding secrets long forgotten. Each step she took felt like a step back in time, into a world where nature reigned supreme and humans were mere visitors. She had heard the stories, the whispers of strange occurrences, of unsettling sounds that echoed through the trees at night, tales of ghostly apparitions and mysterious lights that danced in the darkness. But Sarah was not one to be easily swayed by folklore. She believed in facts, in evidence, in the tangible world that could be measured and studied. But Sarah was a woman of logic, a scientist who scoffed at superstition. She had spent years studying the natural world, unraveling its mysteries one by one. To her, the forest was just another ecosystem, a complex web of life waiting to be explored and understood. She adjusted her backpack, ensuring that her gear was secure, and took a deep breath. She adjusted her backpack and ventured into the woods, her boots crunching on fallen leaves. Each step echoed in the silence, a reminder of her presence in this ancient place. The forest floor was a mosaic of decaying leaves and twigs, a testament to the cycle of life and death that played out in this hidden world. As dusk settled, the forest came alive, the shadows lengthened, merging into a blanket of darkness that enveloped everything. The air was filled with the sounds of nocturnal creatures stirring, their calls and rustles creating a symphony of the night. It was a world that thrived in the absence of light, a world that Sarah was eager to explore. The rustle of leaves morphed into hushed whispers, as if the forest itself was speaking to her. The wind carried these whispers, weaving them into a haunting melody that sent shivers down her spine. It was both eerie and beautiful, a reminder of the forest's ancient wisdom and its untamed spirit. The snapping of twigs into soft footsteps just behind her. She paused, her heart racing, and turned to look. But there was nothing there, just the shadows playing tricks on her mind. She shook her head, reminding herself that she was alone, that the forest was just a collection of trees and animals, nothing more. The air grew heavy, thick with the scent of damp earth and something else, something ancient and unknown. It was a scent that spoke of history, of lives lived and lost, of secrets buried deep within the soil. Sarah took another step, feeling the weight of the forest's history pressing down on her. She was a visitor in this timeless place, a seeker of truths in a world of shadows and whispers. The townsfolk whispered of a young boy lost in the woods years ago. His name was Ethan, a curious child with a love for adventure. One fateful evening, he wandered too far, chasing the golden light of the setting sun, and was never seen again. They said his laughter still echoed through the trees, a haunting melody carried on the wind. It was a sound that sent chills down the spines of those who dared to venture too close to the forest's edge. The wind would pick up, rustling the leaves and creating an eerie symphony that seemed to mimic the boy's playful giggles. It was as if the forest itself was alive, whispering secrets of the past. Some dismissed it as an old wives' tale, a story to frighten children and keep them from wandering too far. They would laugh it off, shaking their heads at the absurdity of it all. But others knew the truth. They had heard the laughter themselves, felt the cold touch of fear as they realized it was no mere legend. The elders in particular spoke of Ethan with a mix of sorrow and reverence, remembering the day he vanished. One moonless night, a group of teenagers, emboldened by bravado and cheap beer, ventured into the woods, daring to seek out the source of the laughter. They were determined to prove the legend wrong, to show that there was nothing to fear. Their leader, Mark, a boy with more confidence than sense, led the way, his flashlight cutting a shaky beam through the darkness. He joked and laughed, trying to keep the mood light, but there was an undercurrent of tension in his voice. The laughter started softly, a distant giggle that sent shivers down their spines. It was almost playful, like a child hiding and seeking, but there was something unsettling about it. It grew louder, closer, until it seemed to be coming from all directions at once. The trees seemed to close in around them, the darkness pressing in, making it hard to breathe. Panic welled in their chests, cold and suffocating. They tried to laugh it off, to pretend they weren't scared, but the fear was palpable. It was as if the forest itself was alive, feeding off their terror. They turned and ran, stumbling through the underbrush, their flashlights bobbing wildly. The laughter followed them, echoing through the trees, a haunting reminder of the boy who was lost but never truly gone. When they finally burst out of the woods, gasping for breath, they swore they would never return. The forest remained silent, the laughter fading into the distance, but the memory of that night would haunt them forever. The whispers started subtly. At first, Sarah dismissed them as the wind rustling through the leaves, but as she walked, they grew louder, more insistent. They seemed to be coming from the trees themselves, from the towering pines that loomed over her like watchful giants. She paused, listening intently. The whispers were faint, almost indiscernible, like voices speaking from a great distance. They were low and guttural, laced with an unsettling urgency. Fear, primal and instinctive, coiled in her stomach. Sarah pressed on, her pace quickening. The whispers followed, growing louder, more menacing. She could almost make out words now, fragments of sentences that sent chills down her spine. Turn back. Danger. Too late. Section 5. The rustling leaves. The laughter surrounded the teenagers, echoing through the trees, mocking their fear. Mark stumbled, his flashlight falling from his grasp and plunging them into darkness. They huddled together, their breath coming in ragged gasps. Then a new sound reached their ears. A slow, deliberate rustling like something heavy dragging itself through the undergrowth. It circled them closer and closer, the sound of leaves crunching under its weight. Terror lent them speed. They scrambled to their feet, running blindly through the darkness, the sound of their pursuer close behind. The laughter followed, relentless, chilling them to the bone. Section 6, the Phantom Symphony. Sarah broke into a run, her heart pounding in her chest. The whispers were upon her now, a cacophony of voices swirling around her, taunting her, urging her deeper into the woods. She stumbled over a root, falling to the ground with a cry. As she lay there, gasping for breath, the whispers intensified, becoming clearer, more distinct. They were no longer whispers, but voices, speaking in unison, chanting in a language she couldn't understand. It was a symphony of the damned, a chorus of despair. Then, as suddenly as it began, the chanting stopped. Silence descended, heavy and absolute. Sarah lay there for a moment, her body trembling, her mind reeling. She was alone, or so she thought. Section 7. The Secrets of the Forest. Mark and his friends burst from the woods, their clothes torn, their faces pale with terror. They never spoke of what they had heard that night, but the memory lingered, a dark stain on their souls. The forest held its secrets close. Sarah, too, emerged from the woods, forever changed by her experience. She had gone into the forest a skeptic, a woman of science. She emerged a believer, haunted by the whispers that echoed in her dreams. The whispering forest remained, a place of mystery and dread, a testament to the power of the unknown. And the wind continued to whisper its secrets through the trees, waiting for the next unsuspecting soul to lose their way. Section 8. The Unseen Presence. Sarah never forgot the feeling of something watching her in those final moments on the forest floor. The chanting may have stopped, but the presence remained, a palpable weight in the air around her. She could feel its eyes on her, cold and ancient, filled with a knowledge that chilled her to the bone. It was then that she understood. The forest wasn't merely whispering, it was watching. It was waiting. And it knew her deepest fears, her darkest secrets. Sarah didn't wait to see what form the presence might take. She scrambled to her feet and ran, driven by a primal fear she couldn't explain. She didn't look back, but she could feel its gaze on her back, following her every move. Section 9. The Forest's Embrace. The whispers followed Sarah long after she left the forest. They haunted her dreams, whispered to her in the quiet moments, reminding her of the unseen presence that lurked just beyond the veil of reality. The forest had claimed a part of her, a piece of her soul that she could never reclaim. And so the whispering forest stood silent, its secrets safe within its emerald embrace. The wind rustled through the leaves, a constant reminder of the mysteries that lay hidden beneath the canopy, waiting for the next soul brave enough or foolish enough to listen. The forest, it seemed, always had the last word,